desire, what you want to become in the future, what is your passion in life, what is your dream in life. They have nothing to answer. Then I ask, when doing counseling, sometimes I ask, don't you have anything? Don't you have any plans about your future? Don't you have anything to decide? Don't you desire for anything? No, I don't. I don't. Why? No. So people are so reluctant to say. So, no, I have nothing great to think about myself. I'm just studying. If I'll get a job, okay, I'll somehow try to manage my life. No? We're not looking for anything great because we think that I don't deserve something great in my life. Sometimes we see when we give examples about great men and women, when we give examples about others, see how he is or how she is. Look at that person, this person. Sometimes when we give examples, people say, "No, if they're all privileged, his father is not like my father. His mother is not like my mother. He is not blessed with the wife. I mean, I'm not blessed with a wife like him, or I do not have an husband like her. They don't have children. I don't have children like him or her. So we always keep on comparing ourselves with others. If God wants me to be better, lead a better life, if I'm meant for achieving something great in my life, I could have been in some other family. I could have been in some other circumstance. Look at my circumstances and look at my family background. Look at my finances. Look at my health. Look at my so and so. All the avenues of the life they quote and say, I'm not meant for such great desire in life. I am not here for something to achieve. I'm a very ordinary person. Let me lead my life in a very ordinary way. So that is the kind of perception that most of us have. But my friends, I'll tell you one thing. I am telling you the truth only by the truth. Each one of us are very, very unique. We are all very, very unique creatures created by God. Each one of us are created with a purpose. See, when a seed is sown in the soil, the seed maybe the outlook of the seed does not give a picture about a fruit or a flower or the kind of branches or what are the services it is going to offer in the future after 10 years or 20 years. But it is going to be a very ordinary looking seed. But there is a plan in it. That plan is already predestined. So most of us do not accept this. Most of us do not accept this because we think about the current situations, the prevailing situations. When they're not favorable to us, we come to a decision that I'm like one among the others. I'm just leading a very ordinary life. Nothing so passionate in my life, nothing to desire for, nothing has to be achieved so great in my life. I'm just leading my life as such. However life comes to me, I'll take it. So this is the kind of attitude. So we are so many times we are very negative minded, or sometimes we act like a pessimist. So Bernard Shaw says when the optimist invented the aeroplane, the pessimist invented the parachute. See, when the optimist invented the aeroplane, the pessimist invented the parachute. So both of them are serving the society. One person thought positively that the aeroplane could be able to fly. So and he made it. And the other person thought, what will happen if the aeroplane happens to collapse? So he made a parachute. So both of them are serving the society. So even if you're pessimistic, no problems, think something great in your life. Okay. So before I'm get into the topic of this. Grit, passion, and perseverance. I like to give a reference from where this topic is taken from. So I do not know how many of you have read this book or come across this book. I'll just share you this. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is a topic. This is a book, a famous book written by Angela Duckworth. Yes. So this is where the title is taken from. Grit, the power of passion and perseverance. She is the founder and CEO of Character Lab, a non-profit organization whose mission is to advance scientific insights that help children thrive. She's a professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania, and she's the person to author this book. She's a researcher, and later I'll share what she is talking about passion and perseverance in this book predominantly. And if you get chance to read this book, please buy a copy of it and read it. Or you can see some of her videos in the YouTube and some of the materials online you can find. Please, when you get time, please try to read this. Okay. Now, before I continue, yes, before I continue, let me introduce a person before let me start with a testimony, I should say. Instead of giving examples from the net or my own examples or some sharing some content that I've taken from online from the internet, I would like to present unto you an example of my own student. She is with us this afternoon. So let us listen to her first of all, and she will be talking to you about this her passion and perseverance. She's Nivedita. She did her BE Computer Science program in our college, and she also pursued her ME program also, and she passed out a few years back. And she will tell about herself. I'm not going to talk about her. She will tell about herself, and she'll share a few words with you. Then I'll get into the topic. Over to Nivedita. Welcome, Nivedita.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm going to tell my story of my passion and my perseverance. As a normal child, I grew up and I was in passion to teaching. My family, mostly most of the members were in the teaching field, and I was greatly inspired from them to get into this teaching field. So, I thought, let me do my undergraduation and then post graduation. So I was 18 and I was doing my third year in undergraduation. At that time, I was diagnosed with a spinal tumor and I had to undergo a complicated open surgery. And also, in that surgery, if they are going to remove the tumor completely, I would get partial paralysis, that is paraplegia. I can't walk hereafter. So what they did was like they said that the doctor said that we are going to remove a part of a tumor, and the surgery successfully went, and I recovered after 3 months. But even after the 3 months, they advised me not to sit for a prolonged time or you shouldn't travel for a long duration. But for me, academic was the most important thing in my life. Like it is a part of my goal. I was an average student in my school. Suddenly, when I entered my graduation, I liked that environment where I studied. From that point, I realized this is a good opportunity and we should exploit that to achieve my goal. So I was excelling in my academics. Suddenly, that was an obstacle in my life when I got the tumor and I was operated and I was lying down. I couldn't able to walk normally. I couldn't travel. I couldn't do even the smallest things an average individual can do. But I was inspired. I faced that obstacle and I continued my academics. I withdrawn for a semester and then I wrote two semester examinations. Even I'll write two examinations. That is today evening I'll write the previous semester exam. Then tomorrow morning I used to write the current semester examination. I prepared with my fullest I gave my full strength and I prepared for that. And then I succeeded in both semester examinations and I excelled as a topper in that 2 semesters. I completed my undergraduation. I was so normal that nobody would tell me that you are weak physically. Then I pursued my post graduation in the same college and I was in my final year, final semester. And once again, the tumor was growing and it was more critical than the previous time. The tumor has already damaged my nerve, and so that it will give a lot of problems. Like it'll, that sensation, I can't even explain. It will be like thousand pins or pricking you like anything. So even with that, I came for my Viva. I did my Viva successfully. I successfully graduated my master's degree, and then I went for my operation. And this time it was successful enough that they removed the tumor completely. But after that, they suggested me, you better stay at home, don't do anything like that. Even my family members insisted me to be at home, but I was so confident that nothing would happen to me. I'm going to pursue my dream. And I was so self motivated that I cannot be at home. Uh, from the second surgery, for till 9 months after that, I didn't even get out of my home. I was in a very depressed point in my life that for taking 10 steps to walk, it'll take me like 45 minutes. So at that point, I was thinking whether I can go to the next step in my life, or will it be like this for the rest of my life. And one more thing that disturbed me a lot at that time was my mother got a stroke when I was bedridden. She got stroke. I don't know what happened, but from that second she got stroke, I stood up, I walked, I could get down of my home. And then I went to hospital with her. I was staying with her in the hospital. I took care of her, I nursed her. At that point I realized that what we are thinking by ourselves, like I even used to talk to my spine like that, you're troubling me a lot, you don't do this, I'll recover, I'll do things successfully. Like I'll be keep on motivating me that whatever obstacle you face, you can come out of that. The second time I underwent the surgery, I thought of the first time. You faced that successfully. So even this time you are going to be successful. And that happened in me that you need to have determination and you should put your hard work completely to pursue your goal, your passion. And I did that. And now I've joined as an assistant professor in Sri Sairam Engineering College. And I'm so happy that I had the motivation to pursue my passion in spite of that obstacles. The ultimate thing here is you should have a growth mindset. As sir suggested, you are facing some obstacle and you're stuck with that in your point of life, that you're too low in that point. You shouldn't think that you can't go further. You shouldn't compare with others. First of all, this is your passion, this is your goal. You should put the effort to proceed further. In spite of whatever the obstacle you are facing, still there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. You should think positively. You should put your hard work, your efforts will show you in that result. Now I'm so happy that I am continuing my passion, and I will not stop improving me further. I'll learn and learn. I'm so happy to have this talk, sir. Thank you for having me to this session. Thanks, Praveen Joe sir. Thank you for the management.
Thank you, Nivedita. Thank you for coming. I think we can unmute and give a clap to Nivedita. That's fine.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all those who are listening. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Nivedita.
Thank you, sir.
So, instead of giving some example, when I was preparing for this talk, I thought all of a sudden this name came to my mind, Nivedita's example. So she used to come, as she said, even for 10 steps, it will take 45 minutes to walk. And she used to come in a wheelchair. We used to take her through the lift to the third floor, and we used to give her a cushion chair in the class. And there was no shortage of attendance for Nivedita. There was no shortage of attendance. She was the top scorer, but she was not able to get the university rank because she had a break. But otherwise, she will be also be a rank holder. And very many times, when I was teaching in the seventh semester for her, I used to ask her whether are you comfortable, are you able to write. I used to observe her face, and I used to find that she's a little disturbed, and not even a single time she said that no sir, I will quit, or or I'm very tired, or I'm a little upset. No, she'll never utter such words. She'll be always positive. She'll always be positive, and she'll take down all the notes so perfectly. And she will never take leave unnecessarily. Until and otherwise it's very much required, she will never take leave, and she used to be very regular. So, and once she told me that I'm passionate about becoming a teacher. So I was very happy. And even then, I told the then principal that, sir, we should motivate such students, such creamy layer students should come for teaching profession. That only then this that'll be great future for the students in of the future. So I used to share with that principal also. So that was really a motivating thing for me, and she successfully graduated, and now she's into teaching. And okay, now, so the first thing that I would like to share before going deep into this passion and perseverance, the first thing that we need to remove is the mental block. So most of us has mental blocks. Okay, we have, most of the time we have mental blocks. Sometimes who is creating this mental block? Are ourselves, our society, our family members, or the community that we live in? Who is creating this mental block? Who is limiting ourselves? Who is limiting our desires? Who is limiting our achievements? Who is limiting our passion? Maybe family constraints. Sometimes some of us in this age group will say we have family commitments and constraints. I cannot do much more other than this is already too much for me. I'm cooking at the home. I'm taking care of the children. I'm taking care of my husband. I'm teaching in the college. I have so many other. I'm doing my research, and this is more than enough. And I cannot do anything more than this. Okay, so we have such cases. So we limit ourselves. We think that in the present situation, this is the maximum that is possible by me. Men also, I was just given an example, whomsoever it may be, the person may be. So we have our own limitations. I have my own limitations. I said, no, this is enough. This is enough. I'm already doing so many things. This is enough for me. So this is a kind of mental, this is originally a mental block. How do I say that it is a mental block? Are we really destined to do only this? Are we meant for doing something much better? How do we know that? See, I'll tell you a story. Once a principal was addressing the students in the orientation program, and he was telling them a story. I will make it very short. He was sharing a story like this. He told them, he gave an example that there was a sculptor who was making a statue. So he took a piece of rock, and he carved it with his chisel and hammer, and he has carved it into a beautiful statue. So, and it was so painful for the statue, so it has to bear all the pain, and it cooperated with the man who carved it. And so he was able to make a very beautiful statue of a goddess. And once he made it, he had put it in the altar of a temple, and all the people venerated it and worshipped, and it received all honor and respect. Then he took another piece of rock, and he tried to make something out of that piece of stone, rock. But the stone was not at all cooperative because it cannot bear all the pain. Then he decided nothing could be done with this particular stone. Therefore, I will put it in the entry. I mean, the footsteps of the temple, the same temple. So he had put it in the footsteps, and so everybody entering into the temple has to stamp at this stone, and it used to bear all the pain throughout its lifetime. So the principal came to a conclusion saying that if you all cooperate with us, if you cooperate with us for 4 years, if you really tolerate, for 4 years, if you really cooperate with us, for 4 years, if you make all sacrifices, then for another 40 years, till even after your retirement, you can be very, very happy. This is ultimately the principal wants to motivate the students, saying that you cooperate with us for four more years, you tolerate, and 40 years you can be happy. Now I would like to put a question to all of you. I hope all of you are listening to this story. Is this a good motivational story? Is the objective of the principal very clear? And what he went to convey, is it the right way of is he quoting the right example to convey what he wanted to convey? Or do you find anything else in the story? Can any one of you unmute and say? Please, any one of you can unmute and say. In the story that I said, do you think that's a good story to be told to the students? Or you find anything else in your perspective? Yes, any one of you please unmute. I think I'm audible. Yes? I cannot call you by name and answer. Why don't some of you please unmute and answer? You don't have an answer, or you have nothing to say, or am I not clear?
Sir.
Yes, Pichirajan is
Uh,
coming forward. Yes,
yeah,
please.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
audible.
Uh,
Yes.
as a adolescent, as a student in an adolescent stage, this would be a simple motivation that if he bears that restrictions or conditions being followed in a college, would help him out, because that is where he would be molded. He would be seeing the real society.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I think Dr. Banureka also wanted to say something. Yes, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Yes, sir. It's a perfect story to be told to the students. I also tell a very similar story to my students also. I say that they have to be like a clay, so easily moldable. So that they have the attitude and they yield themselves to any kind of tough situations, so that they can learn even from tough situations.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, madam. Anybody else you want to share your view on this story? Yes, somebody is switching on the mic. Anybody else would like to give any remark on this story? No? Okay. Fine. Mm. So both of them said that it is really an apt story to be told to the students, and it is a good motivational story. But I'd like to deviate in this aspect. See, when students are in 10th standard, they'll say, you study properly in 10th standard and 12th standard. Once you go to the college, you can be happy, isn't it? And once they come to the college, we say you study for 4 years. Then once you get into the job, you will be happy. And once he or she gets into the job, you know the true story. See, ultimately, what the story that was told by this principal, what is he trying to connect? All that is good in life, all that is, all that we desire something, all our desires that are great in life. If you want to be successful, it is really very, very hard. You have to work hard. So indirectly, or in the subconscious mind, the principal puts this thought. What is that? Education is something that is compared to the sculpture making a statue with the chisel and hammer. See, when someone strikes you with this chisel and hammer, it's so painful. So is education something so painful that he or she should tolerate for 4 years? Is that the principal trying to say? He might have told in a different perspective. I understand. But in the subconscious mind, how this get registered is, let me tolerate for 4 years. And after that, I'm a free bird. See, most of us in our society are brought up in this way. All that is good in life, all that is great in life, all that is to be achieved something great in life is very, very difficult to achieve. You have to work hard. You have to, of course, you have to work hard, but it's very, very difficult to achieve. And all that is bad in life don't do it, we'll say don't do it, but it is giving pleasure. Smoking, we say don't smoke, but we will say in the subconscious mind we have registered that it gives pleasure. Drinking is alcohol is giving pleasure, but don't do it. If you study properly, you can become a great scholar. Okay, but it is difficult. If you want to become something, it is good. You can be happy, but now it is you have to work hard. You have to strain yourself. See, this is a wrong connection that we give most of the time. All that is good and all that is to be desired, that is great in our life, it is very, very hard to achieve. And all that is bad, it gives pleasure. But don't do it. So this is the kind of psychology, that the mental block that is created. We have to say, if you have a proper desire, everything will turn to your favor. Not only to children, to ourselves, if we say, if you have the right desire, if we have the right desire to achieve something greater, if there is a purpose in it, if there's purpose in it, there may be hurdles, there may be difficulties, but everything will turn to our favor. Where there is a will, there is a way. There may be hurdles, there may be troubles, but we will be able to overcome. So this is the kind of motivation that it is pleasurable. We have to say, if you want to achieve this, it's a pleasurable. Studying for 4 years in an engineering college is pleasurable. Each day you can enjoy. Each day is enjoyable. Each class is enjoyable. Each lecture is enjoyable. That is the kind of motivation the principal should have given. He should not compare this studies or education to the pain that has to be tolerated for 4 years. So, though we all, just like that, we agree to such stories, there is a wrong message in it that we indirectly convey to the next generation. Okay, now, so the first thing is the mental block. The mental block. So we have to remove that mental block. We have to remove that mental block. Then, let us go into this topic now. I'll just share you a video. Just watch it. Hope that's visible.
Sir, you have forgotten to include the audio, I believe.
Yeah. I know, I know. 1 second, 1 second. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So in this simple video, we saw that the little bird was having a different perception about the task of finding a prey or its food. And later it learned certain techniques. And then when he had applied it, everything seemed to be very easy. So that was very beautifully shown in this video. So now let me continue with what is grit, passion, and perseverance. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes. Thank you. Okay. Now here, as I already told you about this Angela Duckworth, the word grit, she presents it in a different way, little higher than passion and perseverance. Just I'll try to explain you in a much better way, uh, in whatever terms that I understood. Okay. So first thing, we know the meaning of the word passion and perseverance. Okay. So perseverance means working hard and not giving up. All of us know we will need to work hard and should not give up attitude. We talk about this in many seminars, and we might have listened to about perseverance many times. I show perseverance when I stick with something until it is finished. Until it is finished, you keep on sticking on to certain things, then you show perseverance. You demonstrate perseverance. I show perseverance when I don't give up. Yes, when you don't give up. It is not how many times you fall, it is how many times you get up from falling is very important. We say that way. Okay. So even when we define technically, we talk about a quality of a software, we used to define something called reliability. We say reliability is a failure-free operation of a software. Then we give a formula for that. We'll say mean time between failure, mean time to fail, mean time to recover. Three parameters we used to give to calculate this reliability, which means in a particular day, it is not that how many times the software fails, but how many times it fails is one parameter. Second thing, how many times it automatically recovers from the failure and proceeds further is another parameter. And what is the duration between one failure and the second failure is another parameter. So we used to put all these three values and then calculate some probability value and then give the quality of the software. Okay, so yes, when we don't give up, it is perseverance we are demonstrating. So all these words are used: persistence, constancy, uh, relentlessness, uh, obstinacy, stalwartness, steadfastness, determination. All these words, if you see in the dictionary, are having the similar. They having similar meaning, and all these talk about perseverance. Okay, attitude of not giving up. Okay. Now, if you take the dictionary, it says in the context it is grit. When you explain grit, it is explained this way. In the context of a behavior as a character trait, if you explain grit as a character trait, it is the firmness of character, indomitable spirit. It's the firmness of character, indomitable spirit. Okay. So what is this indomitable spirit? Something inconquerable spirit. Inconquerable spirit. So let us try to understand this much better in the later slides. And Duckworth, this lady, when she writes this book, she says perseverance and passion for long-term goals. Grit is perseverance and passion for long-term goals. When she's equating grit as when she puts a formula for grit, she says perseverance plus passion, not for self-gratification, not for your own achievements, not for filthy desires, not for selfish desires, not for short-term goals, but on a long-term goal with a greater desire. With a greater desire, not for a simple thing. You are having a perseverance and a passion. You apply it for a greater desire. She calls it as grit. So we also have our own personal desire. Sometimes we may have a very cheap desire, very filthy desire. We do something to achieve it, isn't it? We achieve it. Sometimes you don't like your mother-in-law. You keep on. You have the passion and perseverance, and you wait for the chance. How many times in a day you can insult her? We try to insult her, isn't it? When we don't like our boss, we'll be waiting for a chance when I can give him a kick, when I can give him tit for tat. So we will have enough patience, we'll have enough perseverance, we'll wait for our chance and give it. So that is all filthy desire. So she here, Duckworth talks about perseverance and passion for a noble cause, for a long-term goal. What is this long-term goal? What is that she's talking about? What is that indomitable spirit? What is that firmness in character? What is that? See here, I like to quote a few examples. When Mahatma says his mantra, Gandhiji, the father of a nation, during the Quit India speech on August 8th, 1942, he says, do or die. We shall either see free India or die in the attempt. We shall not live to see the perpetuation of our slavery. We can never be slaves. We will either live in free India or we will die. Passion for freedom. He had the passion for freedom, a great desire, a great desire. Not a simple thing. So everybody said it is not possible. It is not possible to get freedom through your path of ahimsa. It is not at all possible. Everybody said. He said, no, it is possible. It is possible. Do or die. I will do it. Otherwise, I'll die. So look at his passion. I'd like to give a few more examples that I copied. This person, I do not know how many of you know. He says, look at his slogan. He said at the age of 14 he died. His name is Savio. He's venerated as a saint in the Catholic Church. He says, death rather than sin. Passion about holiness. Death rather than sin. Whatever comes to me, I'll not commit any mistake. I'll lead a holy life. Death rather than sin. Strong decision. Look at his perseverance and passion. Very often I used to quote this. Martin Luther King he used to say, he's telling passion for perfection. See, if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pass to say, here lived a great sweeper who did his job well. So look at the words he's using. Look at the passion for perfection. Even if you sweep the street, sweep as though Michelangelo painted his pictures. Even if you're doing the simplest job, do it perfectly. So that is what he wanted to say. See? Next, passion about talents. See, I used to read a lot about Einstein. He used to tell many things in a very simpler way and in a very colloquial and very jovial way. Many of the things he used to put greater things in simple terms. He says, I have no special talents. I'm only passionately curious. I don't have anything great. I'm only passionately curious about certain things that I want to do. Then you look at Nelson Mandela, what he says, I never lose. I either win or learn. This great man. There is nothing called failure. If I win, I will win. Otherwise, it is not a failure. It is only a learning. It's a never lose attitude. This lady, I just forgot her name. What is her name?
Sudha Ramamurthy.
Sudha. Yes, Miss Sudha. Yes, she says, I can give you many examples of people who may not have studied much but have done well for themselves because they believed they could. because they believe you can. See, I can keep on quoting many examples like this. I collected a few for reference. Now, so with this introduction, what is this in terms of the meanings of the word perseverance, passion, and grit that we have seen, and what this Douglas has written in her book? I would like to present five important characteristics. Five important characteristics to build that perseverance and passion. Five important characteristics. I don't have much time to talk more about it, so I limit myself with five different characteristics. The first and foremost, courage. Courage. Fear is the biggest block or the greatest hurdle or block for all our achievements. Fear. Fear for everything. Fear for everything. See, Roosevelt says, do something that scares you every day. Courage is like a muscle. It has to be exercised daily. If you don't do it, if you do, it will grow. Ignored, it will atrophy. Courage helps fuel grit. Courage helps fuel grit. The two are symbiotic, feeding into and off of each other. And you need to manage each and how they are functioning together. So courage and grit go hand in hand. Courage and grit go hand in hand. So why is that we fear? Why we get fear? See, why there is no courage in us? So most of the time we will have fear. Fear of the future, fear of failure, fear of many things, fear about many things. So why do we have fear? Fear because there are two things. In Tamil there is a word. In Tamil there are so many words which give a confused meaning. We used to say Baya Bhakti. I think all of you understand. Baya Bhakti. We used to say Baya Bhakti Arkanam. That means you have to be more reverent and you have to be very so see, but ultimately when there is bayam there is no bhakti. When there is bhakti there is no bayam. Both are totally contradictory to each other, but we will combine those two words and give a new word which is very confusing, saying bhaya bhakti. Bhaya bhakti ni ked. Bhaya bhakti you pray. Something will say you when we use this word, but both are contradictory to each other. Where there is fear there is no faith. Where there is faith there is no fear. When we have faith in something, we will not have fear. When we have fear, there will not be any faith. Both are contradictory terms. So the first thing that we must remove from our mind is the fear factor. The fear factor has to be removed. Okay. So most of the time we worry because why? What will happen? What will happen if I do? So many negative thoughts. We give room to negative thoughts. Always we are pessimistic, and that is why we enter into fear. Okay, we enter into fear. So the first thing is courage. So it has to be exercised every day. Every day you have to exercise yourself. Okay, so if you don't do it, it will lead to a failure. The next thing, consciousness, and that is achievement oriented or you're dependable. Achievement oriented or dependable. So self-awareness here, what they may mean to say is only self-awareness, right? That's a beautiful song, one old song from MGR movie that says உன்னை அறிந்தால் நீ உன்னை அறிந்தால் உலகத்தில் போராடலாம் உயர்ந்தாலும் தாழ்ந்தாலும் தலை வணங்காமல் நீ வாழலாம். If you know yourself, you are the winner. So most of the time we do not know our potential. We always have a dependent attitude. We love to be dependent always. It is good in one way. In the family we love to be dependent on each other. That is good in one sense, but it is not always good. But in organizations, in our professional life, most of the time we don't want to be independent. We don't want to be achievement oriented individual. We wanted to be always dependent. We wanted to be always conventional. We wanted to be always self-controlled. See, the achievement oriented individual is one who works tirelessly, tries to do a good job and completes the task at hand whereas the dependable person is one is more notably self-controlled and conventional. Not surprisingly, how it's the name of the person that discovered that achievement-oriented traits predicted job proficiency and educational success for better than dependability. So people who are achievement-oriented and self-dependent are really success-oriented. Okay, so second thing, we have to come out of this dependable attitude, always depending on others. We never wanted to be independent, and particularly in our society, in our the context of our society and the society we live in, this is what is encouraged. We never want people to think independently. We never allow people to think laterally. So we always wanted to get along with what everybody is doing. எல்லாத்தோடையும் ஒத்து போயிருவோம். So let us go and hand in hand with what everybody is doing. Everybody is doing, let me also do. Why do you do this? Everybody is doing. Everybody is doing this, so I'm also doing. I never wanted to be achievement oriented. I never wanted to think rationally or in something different. So a controlled person, self-controlled person who may never step out of line may fail to reach the same heights as their more mercurial friends. In other words, in the context of consciousness, grit and success, it is important to commit to go for the gold rather than just show up for practice. Or to put it less delicately, it is better to be a racehorse than an ass. So you look at the racehorse, right? If you look at an ass, it has to carry so much of weight. It has to obey the owner, and it is carrying it, working hard for many days, and only then it will get its meal. But a racehorse, it runs only once, and it gets so much of profit. Okay, so in certain aspects we have to be dependable. Of course, we are dependable for love, we are dependable for affection, we are dependable on each other in the family. That's good, but otherwise we have to be independent. So first is courage, and second one is being independent. Then long-term goals and endurance. Okay, enthusiasm is common, but endurance is rare. That's what I want to share. So most of the time when we start doing something, we are enthusiastic people. As time goes on, the endurance is coming down. We don't stick on to our passion that we had. We sometimes ask, where is your first love? Where is your first love? When we do something for the first time, we are so passionate, so enthusiastic. We think of greater things to be achieved. But ultimately, when we see certain small failures, we try to put ourselves down, and the endurance is becoming very low. Okay, so here, one of the distinctions between someone who succeeds and someone who is just spending a lot of time doing something is this: practice must have a purpose. So we are spending a lot of time in doing something continuously. That is good, but it cannot alone be accepted as perseverance. If you are repeatedly doing something, it cannot be accepted that it is you are passionate about it. Okay, unless what makes the difference is the purpose. What makes the difference is the purpose. When there is no purpose in what we are doing, the practice is a waste. When the goals are not set, when the objectives are not clear, and we simply practice certain things for the sake of doing it, and we cannot claim it as a passion or perseverance. So the purpose is more important. So this is where, throughout the book, if you read, Douglas is very particular about this long-term goals. Long-term goals. So we are we are just happy with a house, with a car, with a marriage, with the children, with the family, with a job, with a monthly salary. That's it. Nothing more than that. We never think more than that. Okay, and why we don't have a long-term goals? we don't have long-term goals because we don't understand the purpose behind it. The purpose of our life we don't understand, because as I told you in the beginning, each and every one of us are created unique with a purpose. Friends, I'll tell you, some of us you think, no, no, it isn't. Some of you may not agree. So I'm not like him, I'm not like her. So how do you say that we are created? We are blessed. See, all of us are equally blessed, but we are not similarly blessed. That is the fact. All of us are equally blessed with talents, equally given all potential, equally given all skills, equally given all that is required to serve our purpose. But we are not similar. If you are similar, then everybody will be the same. We are not going to be different human beings. Therefore, only that we have to understand that we are not similar to each other, but we are all equally blessed. If you say, if you are quoting an example, whom do you think is the most successful person in this world? If you say that he or she is the most successful person in the world, then you and I also have the equal potential of that particular successful person. We are no way inferior. This is a fact. This is a fact. The thing is, we do not know the purpose of why we are blessed with certain skills, why we are blessed with certain talents. See, I never, when I was in school, my father used to tell me, you will never pass 10th standard. That is the motivation I received. He'll say, you will not pass 10th standard. He'll tell my mom, let him pass 10th standard when? I did not have any goal or something. I did not set any, I did not have a great objectives because I was not at all motivated. I never used to come on stage. I never used to speak or sing or do anything. But when slowly, when I came to the higher secondary classes, my teachers started motivating me. And they brought into the limelight of all my talents, all my potentials, all my motivational skills. And they started promoting all that. Then I know that there is a purpose behind it. There is a purpose behind it. So if I'm given certain skills, certain blessings, certain the talents, then that is a purpose. I have to. That is a passion. So now I have built my passion. I have a great passion to do something in the future. I'm not getting into my own stories here now. So long-term efforts and goals are very, very, very important. So we have to cultivate or drive this sustainability in passion, sustainability in the passion. It is not only for a period of time. It's not only for a period of time. So of course, we are courageous to do little things, but not greater things. We have passion to do little things, passion to achieve some of the desires, some of our gratifications that make our surroundings happy, and we are contented about it. But this word grit talks about something which is aiming for long-term goals, aiming for long-term goals. Then resilience, she gives a formula: optimism, confidence, and creativity. Okay, see, this is a formula that's given, plus or minus grit. See, optimism, confidence, and creativity. Okay, see, we may be optimistic, we may be confident also in whatever we are doing, but also we must know that we have to build creativity. So I'd like to touch upon this word creativity. See, many of the times, see, even many of the teachers, we say, you know, what is my H index? What is my this index, that index? You know, my publications, so you know how many patents I have, this. Okay. Just to talk for 5 minutes, address the students for 5 minutes. You cannot keep and control the students for 5 minutes. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody's listening to us. But we say that we go by parameters. We go by parameters. We never bother about skills or our talents. We always go by parameters. See, these are the parameters. I have this, I have that. Go by count. Quantitatively, we define everything. But qualitatively, we cannot even talk for 5 minutes, grab the attention of the students and deliver some content and convince them on what we are saying. That we lack. But our credentials are very good on paper. So It is good to be optimistic, it is good to be confident, but also be creative and also promote skill development and your development of talents. That is very, very important. You have the greater passion to do something. You have a greater target. You have a greater passion and goal. But how do you apply your talents to achieve the same? Is very, very, very important. So that is a mechanism. So here she talks about the the powering mechanism that draws your head up, moves you forward, and helps you persevere despite whatever obstacles you face along the way. In other words, gritty people believe everything will be all right in the end, and if it is not all right, it is not the end. That's so beautiful. Everything will be all right in the end, and if it is not all right, that is not the end. I will keep on going. I'll keep on going. Next, excellence versus perfection. Okay. So before I go to see, I wanted to be the best teacher. I wanted to be the best mother. I wanted to be the best father. I wanted to be the best researcher. I want to be the best singer. I want to be the best actor. I wanted to be the best administrator. Always we love it. I am the best. I've excelled. I'm doing it in an excellent way. When somebody does it in an excellent way, we appreciate them, we congratulate them, we motivate them, we do whatever we wanted to do, because we always, our aim is somebody is excellent. You're excellently you're doing this so excellently, but are you doing it perfectly? Are you doing it perfectly? That is very important. So this is what to say, when you put it on a gauge, that is there's a trade-off. I should use the word. There's a trade-off between excellence and perfect. That's a trade-off. You want to do it excellently. You want to be appreciated as an excellent person in the particular field, or you want it to be perfect. Okay, so that is a trade-off between these two things. This is also very beautifully explained in that book. Certainly, there are times when perfection is necessary to establish standards, like in performance athletes, such as diving and gymnastics. But in general, perfection is someone else's perception of an ideal, and pursuing it is like chasing a hallucination. So we have to establish our own standards. We have to establish our own standards, not for the satisfaction of others. See, a man was carving a beautiful statue. A man was carving a beautiful statue. It was ordered by a king. Then the king wanted to put it in his parlor, the statue. So he has ordered for this statue, and this person has made it. The sculptor has made it. And the king saw the statue and it was so beautiful. Then he said, okay, it's perfect. It's very good. You have done an excellent job. And it's okay, let us take this statue to the parlor. Then said, no, the man said, no, please wait. There's some problem in it. Then he made another one. Then the king saw the other one. And he said, no, this is so perfect. It's very good. I liked it. So let us take it to my parlor and put it in my palace. Then they said, no, there's some problem in it. This person said, again. So he did it 100 times. He worked on it 100 times. Then this king asked, I don't find any mistake with this statue. And every time I said it is okay, you are simply saying that there's something wrong. Who knows? Who can notice? See, there's near that neck, there is a small, there is a black hole. That is something that is visible that you will not observe it. So I wanted to correct it. Then the king asked, why should you be worried about the simple thing? Simple thing that nobody will notice. Then the man said, no, sir, I have noticed it. I have noticed it. So many of the times we think, see, my teacher used to tell me, your discipline is something, what you do when nobody is watching you. Your discipline is something that you do what you do when nobody is watching you. It is not something that you do when everybody is watching you. When everybody is watching us, we are all perfect people. So to our personal satisfaction, to our own personal standards, are we doing it? That is what is the meaning of excellence. So here they're trying to make a trade-off between excellence and perfection. We have to choose to be perfect than just to becoming excellence. Okay, so here we see the word excellence is derived from the Greek word, which is bound to with the notion of fulfillment of purpose or function, and is closely associated with the virtue. So excellence should be connected to a virtue. There should be a purpose, fulfillment of a purpose or a function. There should be a target. See, I remember when we talk about Gandhiji, we talk about Indian freedom, the kind of we talk about many things about Gandhiji's principle of non-violence, etc. But one a Tamil poet he wrote like this. I remember when I read it in my school days. In the Arayadai Manidar, half naked man, he's addressing Gandhiji. இந்த அரையாடை மனிதர் கோடான கோடி மக்களுக்கு மானமுள்ள வாழ்வு பெற்று தந்ததை விட வேற என்ன அதிசயம் இருக்க முடியும்? He asked like that. See, he gave life to those people who were underprivileged, who were his aim was not at all getting freedom only for India. If that is the political freedom alone, if he is limited to political freedom alone, he will not become Mahatma. That is, his aim was not only political freedom. If even then he could have been appreciated, even if he could have attained political freedom. But he looked at freedom in three perspectives. He wanted political freedom, he wanted economical freedom, he wanted spiritual freedom. He wanted to liberate the souls of all people. He never wanted slavery in India. So his objective was not to just chase away the British people. So that he was talking about spiritually. When you read about Gandhiji, you'll know. So there is a virtue behind everything. There is a purpose, there is a function, there is a virtue. So that makes your goal very great. Okay. It allows for disappointment and prioritizes progress over perfection. Like excellence, grit is an attitude about, to paraphrase, seeking, striving, finding, and never yielding. Okay. So it's a matter of attitude. It's a matter of attitude. Don't think it is a quantitative thing that we are achieving. It is not a quantitative thing. Grit is not a quantitative success that you are achieving. Okay. So before I conclude, I would like to close with this thing. See, as I said in the beginning, each and every one of us are created uniquely with a purpose. Then automatically we should have a growth mindset. We should have a growth mindset. We should always have a greater purpose. We should always have a greater purpose. But there are constraints. There are constraints. We have family constraints. We have physical constraints. We have constraints in our professional work atmosphere. We have constraints in our personal life. There are constraints in so many ways, but in political ways, economically, we have constraints. We have constraints. Many of the times, when you listen to this talk of this sort, many of us will think, even I was also thinking that if I have had so much of money, I will do so many things. If I have had so much of blessings like this, I would have done this thing. So mostly we don't look at what we have at present. We always keep on. We saw in that video, no, we don't see the original person within us. We always imagine, if I were like that, I would have done things better. But what is more important is we have to see that we are taking one step forward in every effort that we take. Just one step forward is enough. Then we are moving towards achievement. We are moving towards success. It is not that we have to take a greater leap. Okay, so let us not be giving reasons for not being successful, for not achieving something. So my teacher used to say, if I quoted from Gandhiji, I quoted from Mandela, etc. As we are all teachers, I'll tell you two things. I'll tell you one thing. that my teacher used to say when I was a student in College of Engineering, Guindy, Professor T.R. Natesan, okay, he's no more. He used to say, when the student does not study properly, there are only two things that could be done. Okay, when the student does not study properly, only two things has to be done. Ask the student to change the course or change the teacher. Ask the student to change the course or you change the teacher. There's nothing in between. It is discrete, do or die. Discrete. Certain things are discrete in life. 0, 1, true, false, yes, no. But we keep on finding out some other thing in between. We reason out why it is not happening. We keep on telling some other reason. So that is preventing us in fixing our long-term goals. That is preventing us from or restricting us from all our achievements. We don't travel within ourselves to see what is our potential, what is could be done. Okay, so with this statement, I would like to conclude. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then at least walk. If you can't walk, then at least crawl. Whatever you do, you have to move forward. Whatever you do, you have to move forward. We have to see that we take the next step. And you are allowed to scream, you are allowed to cry, but do not give up. But never give up. Where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. What is more important is the will, is a desire, is a desire within it. Okay, so with this, I would like to conclude. I don't want to take much of your time. I think that will be too much talking about this, but it is a very interesting topic to discuss more on grit, passion, and perseverance. More interesting if we discuss a lot and deliberate a lot than myself giving a monotonous lecture. However, I think that I made my level best to convey better idea about what is grit, passion, and perseverance, and think that you enjoyed my lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen. Now I call upon Mr. Akin to give the concluding note.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Praveen Joe, sir. So from your presentation, grit, passion, and perseverance, we have understood a lot of things, learning as a teacher, as well as this content is very much useful for the parents also. So the word grit, it talks about G for guts, R for resilience, I for initiative, and T for tenacity. And there is an author named Angela Duckworth. She has written a book called Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance, which was published in the year 2016. And one of the very important note, which when you can search for in Google search, you can find that one of the comments, why do naturally talented people frequently fail to reach their potential while other far less gifted individuals go on to achieve amazing things? The secret to outstanding achievement is not talent, but a passionate persistence. In other words, it is called grit. So it's not depending upon the talent, but it is on the passionate persistence. So once you have passion, definitely we can able to achieve whatever the goal is, whatever target it is, we can able to reach the goal and the target successfully. And there are 5 characteristics which we can see in the Dr. Praveen Joe's presentation about the courage, consciousness, perseverance, resilience, and passion. So when you think of courage, you may think of physical bravery, but there are many other forms of courage. Even consciousness, it's the personality trait of being thorough, careful, and vigilant. It's not that everybody is as a small baby, we have been in the sense we might have been kneeling down and we try to come forward. Now we are standing up. We have been as a professor. Qualifying a lot of degrees. We have crossed schools and colleges with a lot of obstacles. Even much more we have to cross. So it's all about our passion. We have not been forced. We have not been pushed up. If we are forced and if we are pushed up, then definitely we may have been fall at one particular place. So it's all about the passion and perseverance, which is nothing but the grit. And one of the very important critic reviews, which was published in Washington Post by Sarah Carr, grit is useful for a useful guide for parents or teachers looking for confirmation that passion and persistence matter. So grit is it talks about the courage, consciousness, perseverance, resilience, and passion. So I thank Dr. Praveen Joe sir, as well as all the participants who have been participated here. With a small note, I thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
So in that case, we have come to the close of the session, and shall we leave?
Yes, yes.
Yes, thanks for your participation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.